crash survivor describes the moments before impact and the crash that he ended up surviving, but his pilot friend did not. Good evening, everyone. I'm Todd Connor.
I'm Erica Fly. That crash happened on July 25th, right next to the Columbus airport. The plane crashed into a house where, incredibly, nobody was killed. Dennis King has only been out of the hospital for a few days since the crash happened. Our TV6 reporter Ebony Monet spoke with King today about what he experienced. Ebony?
Erica, Dennis King has second and third degree burns on 14% of his body. Still, he tells me he's not sure if this accident has taken away his love for flying.
Passenger Dennis King describes the moments after this fiery plane crash.
I guess I had a pretty good gash on the top of my head, but I just didn't realize it yet with all the adrenaline. But then we started feeling gasoline dripping on our backs. So I told Gerald, we got to get out of here as quick as we can.
King says as he was trapped by a seatbelt, unable to escape, he nearly gave up.
That was definitely a low moment. I mean, I've always assumed that burning to death would be one of the worst ways to go. And I was just there was a point where I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get myself out.
King tells us the trouble started minutes before, 850 feet in the air, as pilot Gerald Clayton performed a standard test flight.
Then right after he turned downwind, I noticed he was starting to get kind of frantic working with his pitch control for the propeller.
As they lost altitude, the plane plummets towards houses. King remembers crashing through one side of a roof and out the other, landing in a backyard.
It's a miracle that we did survive the impact. If there hadn't been a fire, we probably both would have been in fairly good shape.
Clayton survived the initial crash, like King, severely burned. But the 81-year-old U.S. Air Force veteran died days later.
You just felt so comfortable around him and felt like you'd been friends, your whole life. Just that kind of a person that just naturally very likable.
Their love for aviation united the men separated by a generation. And King says it was Clayton's actions in a pinch that likely helped to save his life.
King is also a pilot, and doctors say it will be at least a year before he is recovered. And even after that, he says he's not quite sure about flying again. In studio, Ebony Monet, RTV6.